Doug, I appreciate you joining and giving us a testimonial. Before we start, I'd like to know a little bit more about you. So, if you could tell us how many stores you have, whereabouts are you, how long have you been doing restaurants, and etc., that'd be awesome.
So I'm here in Lakeland, Florida. It's Polk County, Florida, very well known for our sheriff here. I have four stores. My brother and I are business partners, and we've been doing it for 8.5 years now. We have
Ah,
the actual first drive-through only modular unit for Jimmy John's.
that's right, with the trailer or
Yep,
the container.
the container ship. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so curious to know what did life look like before you came over to us? You've been with us for 5, 6 years now. What do you recall what life was before you switched over to Vivant?
It was rough. Life was very rough. Back in the day, Jimmy John's, they had a thing called POS crash kit. You had to basically keep a little plastic bin around that had credit card, manual credit card machine, order slips, the whole nine. You couldn't use your POS machine. You couldn't use your credit card machine. You couldn't use anything, basically. Even the Jimmy Tunes would go out. So anytime that happened, which was very frequent, on probably at least once a week from where I'm at. I had Spectrum at my stores, and it would go out minimum once a week, and I'd lose sales.
What was the sales like? Like what impact did those outages have on a business financially, on employees, on you, your day-to-day life, etc.?
Everything you just said. So as far as the business, we would lose sales because we could mostly do cash. Yes, we could do the credit card, but as you can imagine, today's world, nobody wanted us writing down their credit card number or imprinting their credit card and say, "Hey, we're going to run this later." As far as employees, it would put a very big stress on employees because now they have a customer who is in front of them and they're like, "I'm sorry, our credit card machine's down. I have to do this." And they're thinking, wow, a big business like this, and they don't even have the technical capability to stay online. And then, of course, if I wasn't in the store and whichever store went down, my phone would be ringing off the hook. Oh, we're down. We need help. We need help. We're going crazy. And now here I am. I might be in the middle of giving a testimonial and my phone rings and I'm like, I have to go. Boom. And I'm out the door. So it was stressful all around for everybody.
Got you. Actually, let's reverse it back. In terms of yeah, yeah, even I screw up. So, in terms of revenue loss, what did that look like? Any financial numbers to put behind that?
I don't have actual numbers right now, but I mean, the one store that goes down that would go down the most was our downtown store, which is our very busiest store, and we easily doing anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000 lunches. And when the system would go down, we'd probably only do a $1,500 lunch. We'd average anytime it went down, we'd average you lose five anywhere from $500 to $800 in sales
Oh,
because not only did it affect the in shop sales, but we wouldn't get delivery sales either.
that's right. Because right now you guys are doing roughly about 50, 60% of your sales are online. So all those would
Correct.
go away and vanish right
All
away.
everything would go away.
Uh, why did you decide to switch to Vivon? What happened? Walk us through this story.
Uh, Biggest one thing is I finally got fed up, and I can't remember which franchisee it was. Might have been David for talking about on our. We have an owners group on Facebook, and they were saying, "Hey, look, I have this great company. You don't lose internet, you don't lose your server, you don't lose anything. Throw out your POS crash kit. You'll never need it again." And so from there, I talked with David and John and you, and I was like, all right, let's give this a try. I mean, nothing could be worse than what Spectrum was already giving me.
So everything was upside. I'm curious, have you used that crash kit since then?
I have not. I actually threw them all out. The two stores that had it, because the new stores I never even bought it, but the two stores that I have that had the crash kit, I threw them out. We actually use the little plastic containers to hold pens in now.
Ah, good use for that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's talk about some of the support stuff. So, have you interacted with anybody in our support team? And I'm curious, what did that customer service experience feel like when you had to interact with our team?
I've actually interacted with customer support a lot, not because of mess ups or nothing, like just trying to upgrade stuff, or whether it be on your side, you guys are upgrading equipment, or I decided that I wanted to upgrade something on my side. And support is absolutely amazing. Every time I've called support, the guys and girls are absolutely amazing. The I don't know if I should put this here, but one of the biggest things that I love about support is when I do call and I'm like, "Hey, this is going on," or something. Like a couple weeks ago, my cameras dropped for some reason when you guys had upgraded my modem. I literally said, "Hey, this is it," and you guys, when you initially start, the support person does an entire diagram and they of what's going on. They're like, okay, from this point, you have a black wire going from port one over to this modular thing with to port whatever, and you guys basically put together an entire map of what my store looks like, and everything is up and running. And then that way, if you get an employee who says, "Oh, I'm going to move this wire from here to there," I can call and say, "Hey, this is what I got," and your support group will know, no, that wire needs to go back to here, and get me back online very quickly.
Absolutely, yeah. We color code cables. We try to keep everything like as neat as possible in order
Right.
to make troubleshooting obviously easier. So I'm glad that that has paid off. In terms of outages or problems that impacted sales, have you had any problems at any of their stores over the last 5, 6 years?
No, I haven't. I have not had one outage. When we started the new modular store, which I'm actually at today, um, we did have the antenna issue because it's a big metal box. So until we were able to get something set up, I believe you actually hands on yourself when corporate was here. We said, okay, hey, let's move the modem or the whatever it was with the antenna. Not a tech guy, that's why I have you. You said, here, let's go buy this long cable and let's run this over here until we can get this figured out. And on opening day, within I'd say 15 to 20 minutes, you had us up and running, back going to where we could get orders.
Absolutely, yes, I do recall that. Um, we talked a little bit about cost of outages and downtime costing roughly $500 to $800 just during that lunch rush. I'm curious if we could paint a little bit more picture around that. Um, what other impact did it have? Lost sales? Tell me a little more about that side of the business.
Well, I mean, it's not only lost sales. I mean, you got to look at everything. So now I have employees on my clock that are being paid whatever they're getting paid per hour. Now, not only am I losing money in sales, I'm losing money because I'm still having to pay my employees, hoping that something comes back online. And if it doesn't get back online for a couple hours, I might have just lost another $300 to $400 paying employees to sit around because there's no sales. Yeah, you can always clean. There's always stuff to do, but it's not a good use of financial. It's not good financial responsibility, I guess you could say. So as far as that, yeah, I mean, yeah, and then obviously I'm paying insurance, I'm paying a light bill, I'm paying this. So I'm throwing money out the door because of an outage when I have nothing coming in. Not a good business model.
Totally agree. And what did you guys do to restore services? What did that look like?
We'd have to wait until Spectrum got back online. I mean, there was one time we had literally had an outage for 2.5 days because someone had cut a line somewhere in the ground. They didn't call 811 or whatever, and they cut a line in the ground, and they had to run a whole new fiber cable or whatever it's called. And we were actually had to use a crash kit for 2.5 days. So what that meant was, as far as business and money, I actually brought in two or three extra staff members that could take orders because our phone still worked because we had at the time we had a separate phone company. We with you guys were able to put it all into one. So Spectrum was just internet. So our phone would ring off the hook. So I had to have employees to answer the phone, take a paper order, ask if it's cash or card. If it's card, make sure they can trust us enough to write down their credit card number, and then I have to keep these stack of credit card receipts. And then once the system came back up, I would have to manually enter them, and that would take me 3 or 4 hours of just sitting at the store, manually ringing in an order, manually punching a credit card, and then hoping it processes. And then the customer could always come back and dispute the charge because now I'm manually entering their card. So we had a lot of chargebacks with credit cards, so we lost that money.
Of course, yeah. What a painful situation just because of one interruption. Uh, Drilling down, well, actually, let's move on. So on this one, moving on to if obviously business. Actually, let me start over. Restaurant businesses are pretty tough. Thin margins, everybody says, obviously, thin margins, high labor costs, high food costs. It makes it a very difficult operation to run. You lose sales, it immediately shows up on your bottom line. If a fellow restaurateur is in the same situation and they're dealing with the same outages, same problems, what would you recommend to them?
I would recommend that they go and come to you guys. I mean, some people have bought their own backup system and all that, but in the long run, they don't know when their system's out. So they don't, unless they're getting alerts, they use their own system. You guys, you monitor all of that. So I remember I forget which store it was. The system had gone out. I had no clue because I had zero interruption. And then someone from support called me and they're like, "Hey, we don't know if you know this, but your internet is out, and you're using so many gigs of your backup that we get with you guys." And I was like, "Oh, we need to call someone and get this figured out." And then your support actually called the local people and said, "Hey, this store doesn't have service. We need to get them back online." And they were here within the next day or so.
Okay, absolutely. And actually, that's what I wanted to ask. Let's drill down on the all-in-one solution. Previously, you had someone for internet, someone else for phones, someone else for PCI compliance.
Me
All
for
these
PCI.
were, yep, absolutely. So you for PCI. How did that look like? And cost-wise, chasing vendors, finger pointing, what were the problems that you were facing because you had multiple people involved? And in order to resolve an issue, you had to get multiple people on the same call to resolve those issues.
Right, and like you said, you hit the nail on the head. It was a lot of times it was finger pointing. If the internet would go down, or even my phones, they'd be like, "Well, no, that's Spectrum's issue." Well, no, you're my phone company, and then Spectrum would be like, "Oh, well, that's a telephone issue. They need to come do this line." I'm like, it's two separate things. So it was a lot of finger pointing and trying to get people out when there might have been outages. And as far as PCI compliance, I would literally sit in front of the computer for honestly an hour, minimum an hour, trying to figure out how to properly answer every question that they wanted for the PCI compliance because it's a lot of questions. I don't know. I'd say what, probably 50 questions or so.
Hmm.
And if you didn't put the right answer, they wouldn't approve it. Or you had to do the scan every month or whatever it was that they required. And if you didn't do the scan, then one of our vendors, Signature Systems, would charge you money because you didn't get the scan done in time. So you would lose revenue or money there. So it was just it was a pain in the butt. It was a big pain in the butt. So that's why I'm glad I don't have to worry about any of that with you guys.
Absolutely. So we handle all the PCI compliance, all the scans
Yep.
are done, and you never charge those non-PCI or non-compliance fees from your signature system or other vendors that are within the organization. What's the one thing that you wish you knew sooner about Vivant?
That you were around.
Nah,
Uh, honestly, I mean, yeah, like I said, as soon as I saw on Facebook and they were saying there was no outages, like I said, I did talk to David and John and Chrissy and all them, and yeah, it got you on board. But yeah, I wish I'd known you were around sooner. I would have dropped Spectrum like a bad habit.
got you. And then lastly, what are the two, three things that you everybody else should know about us, about Vivant, so that they could consider us, or better yet, why would you recommend Vivant to other restaurants?
Honestly, the biggest one would be you're the whole company as a whole is very personable. You don't just get, and I'm like right now, I'm talking to the boss. I have the boss's cell number. I could text you anytime and say, hey, this is going on. I can text anyone in your upper management and be like, hey, this is going on. This is going on, and I know it will be fixed immediately. Same with your support group. They're all very very friendly. They when they talk to you on the phone, this is what I like. A lot of times you'll call support of different things, and it sounds like you're bothering that person. I've never had that issue out of your support. They always welcome the call and want to help as much as humanly possible. So that would be the biggest reason, uh, other than no outages, obviously. But the biggest reason is your company as a whole is very personable, and it makes it easier for a restaurateur to talk to you and feel like you're not bothering you and that you're getting your money's worth every single time.
Absolutely. So, are you getting your money's worth?
Oh yeah, yeah. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I recommend you. Like, there's times we have a WhatsApp group for the local restaurants here in Lakeland, and all the time, anybody else's Spectrum out, anybody else's Spectrum out, and every time I just put in there, I just take the shot of your company's contact info, and I put a picture in there. Here you go. If you don't want backup, if you don't want outages, right here, guys. So I'm still pushing. Some of them still want to do it on their own. They're like, oh, I can get my own backup system, and even their own backup system is going out.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not an easy solution to put together to automate it, and obviously the team behind it and ensuring that proactively managing it, supporting it. There, as you mentioned, there's a huge set of resources that are allocated just to that part of business. But
Right.
Doug, I really appreciate everything that you've done for us. You've been a customer for 5, 6 years. We appreciate your business.
Yes, sir.
It has been an incredible journey to grow alongside you guys and helping us grow at the same time. It means a lot to us. We're a small business just like yourself, and this means a lot to us.